Hello and welcome to Tell Me How You Did It. I'm Namrata Zakaria and I'm here to bring to you my handpicked list of some of India's finest brands. Yes, our best homegrown companies that can compete with the world's best and still win the battle hands down. These companies range from food, fashion, and film to home, art, and design. I'm only too happy to talk to the founders who not only chased their rainbows, they also made India proud. Make sure you tune in at htsmartcast.com week after week to shake the hands that built our best businesses. Listen to them tell me how they did it. If you move around in the right kind of circles in New Delhi, you have to have run into Vivek Sahni. Sahni has been among the city's best loved gadabouts. He's also among its most interesting people to meet when you're in town. A graduate from the snobby Parsons School of Design, Sahni was meant to design product and packaging. But instead, he has pioneered in creating what is known as luxury Ayurveda. Kama Ayurveda is one of India's best loved beauty and skincare brands. Its popularity has only grown in the 20 years since it was launched. Its products are sold out of more than 60 standalone stores across India, as well as every leading e commerce site. Is it a first mover's advantage, or does Kama's superb quality ensure its dominance in skincare remains unshakable? Let's ask Vivek Sahni how he pulls it off. Vivek, hello, and thank you for troubling me for weeks to finally bring you on the show.
Namrata, thank you for this here. And I don't quite know what to say to that introduction. I love gadabout and I love all those things. I really wish some of them were true. And snobby. I don't think any of that is, sadly, none of that is true. I'm pretty, how do you say it, basic as far as things go.
I said Parsons School was a snobby school.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but even that now is sort of, there's no snobby anymore. I
There's
think
no snobby anymore.
No, I don't think it never was snobby. Actually, it's just basically a good school where they produce people. Well, they help you, I guess, nurture your talent, and you know, if you are, if you have something there, then I guess they help you, push it through.
You're very sweet. I want to congratulate you because next year is 20 years since Kama was launched, and what a remarkable journey it's been. Is this where you envisioned yourself 20 years ago? Did you imagine your company to, is this how you imagined it to be? You must be very proud.
I mean, of course, to be very honest, of course, I'm very, very proud. Um, did I imagine this? No, not even slightly. Um, we basically, it was something which was done for fun. It was not really, it was not really thought about as a corporate. I mean, I don't know. I guess we never thought about it like, making it into, at least personally, I didn't. The idea was to take, I mean, when we started, the idea was to take something which was Indian, which was authentic, which was traditional, all very keywords, and take it out to the world. And that's where Ayurveda came in.
Yeah.
And it was literally take it out to the world. So the idea was that you take this, you create these products which are clean, which are authentic Ayurvedic, which I think was the key thing here, because I was very clear that I did not want to. There were too many other brands which were organic, natural, clean, herbal, homemade, kitchen remedies, all of that stuff. And we were really, not I think we collectively, were very clear that that is not a route we wanted to go down or explore, but to actually find something which had been around um, in India, uh, and something which worked, was a classical remedy, was not only a remedy, it was a classical science,
Yeah.
not classical science, not a remedy. And how does one take that classical science and make it useful to contemporary India or contemporary global,
Yeah, of course.
to the contemporary client. How do you make people use it on an everyday basis, and not just when you have an issue, like you go to a doctor and you have a cold, you have a medicine, which is how most people treated Ayurveda, and
Even now.
even now, very much
Yeah.
so, and not really as a product which you consume on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
for various skin or hair care issues that you have.
Yeah.
And that's what our challenge was when we started. But I think we were very clear that this is what we how we wanted to be. And when the first products we made, um, there's this whole thing of clean beauty and yada yada yada. But we did that 20 years ago, because even the first products we made were either oil or powder, so there was not even a surfactant or a preservative. Um, they were literally, the face wash was a powder, the body wash was a powder, the mask was a powder, and the rest were oils. There was a hair oil,
Yeah.
face oil, two body oils, and three soaps.
Yeah.
And the soaps were handmade soaps. One is a neem soap, and two of the soaps were made from the Ayurvedic oils. So they were coconut oil based, hot processed soaps. So again, absolutely clean. So it was an absolutely clean brand without anything at all. So way before anybody else had even sort of, a lot of people were
I
still.
read I read somewhere that you got into beauty because Khadi, the KVIC skincare brand, asked you to design their packaging. What's the story there, and how did they
So
give
actually,
birth to their biggest competition?
so it's interesting. The Khadi. So we ran a graphic and product design studio where we designed books. I mean, I was very interested in publishing, so it was
Yeah.
books, magazines. We did some corporate stuff, logos, and I also did wedding cards, very beautiful wedding cards. Um, and when we would, I don't know how it happened, but very randomly we got asked to design some gift packaging for these khadi products. And specifically gift packaging to be given to, I guess, visiting dignitaries, or how when the heads of a, like, I guess when their senior people went out, something they could give to other government officials, to other,
Yeah.
as there was.
Yeah.
And so we actually, we were given a bunch of these products and said, inko kuch karo, and my first thing was, one is obviously the disparate, because Khadi Village Industries is not a company; it's a series of cooperatives and whatever institutions, basically, which are all under this umbrella. So they're all individual; they're all over the countryside, different parts of the country, and they all make different things. So there's somebody making rose water, somebody making almond oil, somebody making coconut oil, somebody making shampoo, disparate depending where they are in the country. And so there were two questions came up. One is, it all looks different because each person is, making it as their packaging. And the second thing was that, does it work? I mean, is it, who's tested it? Who's checking to see how clean it is?
Yeah.
And the good thing was that we they kind of, I don't know how, but we basically kind of got this, the people there at that point were very, very open to experimenting, very open to thought. And they said, can you, we'll help you with the testing. We can use the government labs. Because I said, obviously, how do I know anything about testing? But they said, we'll access the government labs. You can use the government labs to do the tests, the cleaning up, etc. And as far as packaging goes, then why don't you, expand your mandate and create a uniform packaging for this project?
Yeah.
And that's basically how that khadi brand, which exists currently now,
Yeah. Yeah.
made by, and it's actually now being run by different institutions are using it. Somebody's calling it khadi something, somebody's
But
calling it
it
khadi
opened up
something.
a whole world of producer groups to you, right?
It opened up a whole world for an avenues for each of those individual cooperatives. That was the most
Yeah.
interesting thing, that
Yeah.
all of those
Yeah.
guys suddenly had a new source of income. And so we created it, and the idea was that this khadi logo would then become like an ISI mark, so that
Yeah.
basically everybody who cleaned their products up would be able to use this mark and function, and to you clean our products up, and then you can use this label. And even when the project finished, I think many more people who hadn't even got the certifications. I mean, I don't know, maybe they did, but basically everybody started using it, and it's been extremely successful. It's done very, very well for each of those institutions which got involved in it, and I think they're still doing very well. So what it did do for us, for me, and for my business partner at that point, uh, was that we got a huge insight onto how products are made. So you're sitting there and you're learning because of the process of getting the testing done. We were there for those meetings, and then you're learning that this is the surfactant, this is the preservative, this is the color agent. So much is active, so much is not active, and the kind of person I am, I really want to know more about how things are made, why they're made in a particular way, etc., etc., etc. And so that basically was the genesis of how Kama started.
What roles did each of the founders play then and now? There's Dave Chang, there's Rajshri Patti, and of course Vikram Goyal.
So, a lot has happened in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Um, we started out, I think we all had different. So Dave and me, ran the design company. And Vikram had just come back from America. He used to work with Morgan Stanley, and he was coming up. And actually, that's how the brand even started, because he was looking to do something new, and he just quit banking and came to us. He'd seen the whole khadi product, the entire khadi project, and he came to us to say, why don't we do something? Would you like to do something with me, etc., etc., etc. I said, oh. And Rajshri is from Coimbatore. She's a friend, and she is the one who basically, helped us get all the Ayurveda connections. The doctors, the companies we work with, and of course, fundamentally, in Coimbatore, place to stay, car to drive, people to work with us to start with, when we were very small. So the entire infrastructure was hers. So, we all brought different things to the table. And for the last many years now, basically, because we got multiple investors, we got our first set of investors in 2014, then another set in 2019. So basically, it's basically just Dave and me. I'm the CEO, and Dave is heads marketing.
Okay.
But the rest of us, the rest of them are all, not in managerial roles, but they're there.
So you also went, all four of you went to this Ayurvedic pharmacy in Tamil Nadu, right?
No, we work with AVP.
Okay.
Work with AVP, and AVP actually has very long and deep family connections with Rajshri.
Okay.
She's worked. I mean, her family knows the AVP family. I don't know.
What is ABP? What is the full
The
form?
Ayurveda
And what
family. The Ayurveda family.
and do you source everything from them?
No, not at all. No, 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 no. Some products. In fact, we've just set up our own factory. It was actually supposed to have been set up last year, but because of COVID, it all got delayed. But we started manufacturing there July this year. Also in Coimbatore.
How did you get into all these fabulous hotels in Good Earth? How did Kama first arrive on the scene?
Well, that's the advantage of four people, and four people who have four different sets of friends.
Yeah.
I think it's very useful. And so once we basically made the product, and it was very precise what we thought about. We looked at how people, where do you have loyalty and where do you not have loyalty? So when you put something on your face and you'll get used to it and it suits your skin, the chances of you jumping to another product become more difficult, because a lot of people have skin issues. Ditto with hair. if you find a shampoo that suits your hair, then you're hardly going to jump to another one very quickly. Only because it takes a while to find one that suits your hair. People have so many hair issues and skin issues. A soap you'll happily try. Another soap. You'll happily try another body wash, body scrub. You don't really care. You're happy to experiment, something nice smelling, something unusual. So we focused on skin and hair. And once we made the products, it was a very tiny range, as I said. It was uh, three powders, four oils, and three soaps. So it's not a very large range, but all very efficacious, and they're all still on my bestsellers. All my still my bestsellers. Um, the majority of them are still my bestsellers. Um, we basically picked up the phone and called all our friends. So Anita Lal at Good Earth is a friend, and we're still in Good Earth, after 20 years. And she very kindly, offered us space. We ditto with the Oberoi, the lady who runs the beauty parlor is a friend. She put her into the beauty parlors to start with. With somebody knew Taj Khazana also. Somebody was there. Somebody knew somebody. They very kindly put us in there to start with. And like this, it was literally word of mouth. You pick up the phone. Can you put the product in your place? The
This
good
is
thing.
these are all the upsides of being a gadabout.
No, it wasn't me being gadabout. These are everybody's friends. It was not not my gadabout. It was everybody's gadabout. And that's the joy of four people with
Yeah,
different connections. So
yeah,
Rajshri's friends in South India, Rajshri's friends in Delhi. So it was literally like,
yeah,
whoever knew anybody, somebody knew somebody in Bombay, pick up the phone, ask them. We made a
yeah,
list and
yeah,
we like divided it up. Who do you
yeah,
know? Or I have a
yeah,
friend who knows so and so person. So,
yeah,
pick up the phone and do it. And
yeah,
the interesting thing was, of course, that the places that we positioned ourselves in um, were automatically were just happened to be at the premium end of the segment, you
yeah,
know, and that sort of positioned the brand automatically as a premium, well, more expensive brand. And also, it was definitely an issue of price because I
yeah.
think when they first asked us, I remember, like, what do you want to price your hair oil at? And I was like, I don't know, just let's first make the best hair oil there is, and then we'll figure out the price. It's not like I need to, and at that point in time, the nearest competitor was, I think, whatever the mass hair oils were like 30 rupees or 40 rupees, and we were selling it for 350 rupees or 400 rupees.
That
So
was a long time ago.
yeah, and it
350
was, yeah,
rupees,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But was it
so
hard to sell Ayurveda to Indians? I mean, they must think it's something that they can make in their kitchen. So why should they pay,
yeah, it wasn't
top
only
dollar for it?
yeah, it's not that, it was just also a thing of it wasn't Ayurveda. It was, at least in North India. It was, ये क्या है? ये herbal है, natural है, because there's such a strong. Um, I have to say, Shahnaz Hussain had this incredible positioning, for how many years of Shahnaz Herbal. So this whole idea of herbal, was in most people's mind, and what is this a herbal product? And what is Ayurveda? I mean, in South India, it's much more, people still, even then, used to, were thing with it. I mean, I knew what Ayurveda was, but did I go to an Ayurvedic doctor? No, and I don't know too many people in Delhi who went to an Ayurvedic doctor. It is fewer and far between. You might go to a Ved. In South India, it is sort of more common. So it is very difficult. And it continued to be difficult. I'd say actually the really big thing happened when Patanjali came about.
Really?
And that was basically this blast of Ayurveda, no, shoved across the universe, so to speak. And then suddenly nobody asked what Ayurveda is because my name says Kama Ayurveda. So they're like, what is Ayurveda? And we can buy it, It took a while. I mean,
Yeah.
for the mass version was that, but I think it took a while to get to it, definitely.
Why did Kama Ayurveda take 10 years to open its first physical store? It was at Khan Market, right?
Yes. So, as I said, it's a good question. What the first thing was, none of us were doing it full time. We all had different things. Dave and me ran the design company. Rajshri had sugar mills. Vikram had an interior design company. So it didn't really sort of fit into anybody's, I guess, full-time agenda. And it was, I think, in 2012 that and also we didn't have that many products. Huh? Our product range was very tiny. We hadn't really we created more,
Expanded.
but it wasn't
Yeah.
like enough to open a shop. We had like
Yeah.
20 or 25. It wasn't 70 or 80,
Yeah.
which is what you
Yeah.
need to open a store. It hadn't
Yeah.
expanded to that level. And I think in 2012, at the beginning, I was talking to everybody and I said, guys, we should do something with this. It's small, it's making money, but we're not doing anything with it. And that's that year I basically decided that I would come in full time.
Yeah.
And we opened our first store actually now. I think the anniversary was Monday, 25th of October, 2012.
Yeah.
So almost 9 years ago. Yeah. And that I think basically transformed the business. Literally we opened the store and I used to actually sit over there to see who's coming in and who's buying what. And, we had to, Khan Market is very expensive. The rentals are very high and they're still very high. I think they're the highest in the country. And we literally had to borrow money from our families to put the security deposit down because it was, 6 months security. And I was like, oh my God, there's no way any of us had this money. So we just
But the
borrow.
store did phenomenally well, right?
And
It
that's what,
became
yeah,
a destination.
and that's what actually was what the jailer said that transformed the business, literally. One was it's in the front, so it became like an ad, so people who didn't
Yeah.
know about the brand saw it.
Yeah.
And then people visiting from all over the world started shopping there. Um, and we very quickly then the next year we opened our second store, 2014 we got our first investment, and that's when we started actually doing the larger rollout, which and also it was strange because when you come in there was I mean I remember when the investors came in, we were a tiny company. We had like, I think the due diligence lasted 3 hours. There were like 20 employees. It was like, what's what 30 employees, something like that. So it was a very small, very small efficient setup, and which is sort of obviously now become into a.
But obviously profitable even then, right?
Yeah, it was profitable then. Yeah, it was profitable, and also, I think we had a unique product, which was this idea of pure Ayurveda,
Yeah. Yeah.
authentic Ayurveda.
Yeah.
And
So,
despite the smell, despite the the weirdness of the textures, we didn't change that.
the smell, the bringadi, that's bottle is
And
like
that's still
something
our,
has died in it.
our bestseller. It's quite
It's
amazing.
fantastic.
And
I use it.
have you tried the shampoo now? We've just bought the Bringadi shampoo.
Not yet, not yet. But I hated the oil so much, and I loved what it did to me.
So there
I
you
hated
are.
the smell, but it gave me the best sleep. Like obviously, when you leave it
So
overnight.
and that's one of the call outs of the ingredients in it
Yeah,
is it cools the scalp,
yeah,
which is why you sleep so well.
yeah.
It
But
calms
there
the
are
scalp.
scores of Ayurveda products now. I would say hundreds. I mean, I think that the world is now on a brink of this giant Ayurveda sort of a boom. So,
Hmm.
what makes Kama stand out?
I think it's the authenticity of the formulation, the purity of the products. I think that's the most important thing, which is why we actually started doing the clinical trials.
Yeah,
Because I was like, it's all very well to say in Ayurveda it's supposed
yeah.
to be amazing.
And it's very important. It
So
proves
the thing is, yeah,
safety,
but the thing is,
efficacy.
but the
Yeah,
thing is this, but no, but the thing is, it's all very well to say. See, safety is already, we're doing all those tests. It's
yeah,
dermatology tested, all of that is there.
yeah,
But the actual efficacy trials, clinical
yeah,
trials for efficacy, what
yeah,
actually is your hair falling, stop going to stop falling? Is your hair going to get stronger? Is your dandruff flakes going to reduce? Fundamental things, whatever the claims you're making, is that actually happening? And that's why I said, no, let's do the trials and let's see what the actual, what the science behind it is. And the trials are extraordinary. And which
yeah,
is why we then went to the other products. We went to the Kumkumadi, we went to the night cream, we've done it with the shampoo. Because if it works, let's, prove that it works.
yeah,
It's not just like a claim, like Vivek has decided that it's a great oil for your hair. It's not. I'm saying it's a classical formulation which has been around for thousands of years. We're also making it according to that.
Yeah.
That's the most
Yeah.
important thing, I think. I think, what I said, being authentic to the formulation and authentic to the ingredients, that is critical, because it's very easy to fudge,
So
or to think about fudge.
I've used everything. I don't think I've left out anything unless it's been launched in the last 6 months. And even the pregnancy and the postnatal
Right.
care, I've gifted to friends and they've just, been in love. What are your bestsellers and why do you think they sell the best? So there's obviously Bringadi.
So, and now the Bringadi shampoo,
Yeah.
which basically is all natural. We've used the actives from the Bringadi oil,
Yeah.
but not use the oil itself. So
Yeah.
it actually really helps, and we're actually
Yeah.
finding really good results with that.
Yeah.
The Kumkumadi. So basically, pretty much the
Yes.
products we started with. So the
Yeah.
Kumkumadi which we started with, we made a cream from it, a night cream,
Yeah.
which is also the best sellers.
Yeah.
We've just launched a Kumkumadi Biface, which is like a spray on the go.
Okay.
It's just been launched 2 weeks ago. We've made the we just also 2 weeks ago was a Kumkumadi, not even 2 weeks, yes, 15th of October. Uh, uh, we also launched a Kumkumadi cleansing oil. So
Okay.
instead of a wash for
Nice.
the face and oil for the face. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's like a more or less complete Kumkumadi range, which is there. These are all bestsellers. I have a face mask called Suvarna powder, all
Yeah.
natural.
Yes.
Also bestseller, really, really good product. If you've got acne, we've got two very good products, also bestsellers. One is again a powder, which you apply, and then there's a anti-acne face wash. Both extremely, extremely good for what they are. A rose water, which is on the top of which is on our perennial bestseller list. Um, so basically, skincare, I'd say skincare and hair care is what we're good at, and what we put all our R&D efforts into and expanding the business.
So
Um,
how many brick and mortar stores right now? More than 50, 60?
we are no, so our own stores physically,
Yeah,
we're at 50 now.
very good.
We just opened Reliance, the Geo Mall.
The Geo Mall.
We just
Yeah,
opened that. We
yeah.
opened Hyderabad Airport, and we opened another one in Hyderabad this year. So we opened three there. So
Did
that's three.
did the pandemic like force you into e-commerce?
Yeah, yeah, of course, we had no choice. I mean, all the shops are shut. What do we do? Like even now in Bombay, you have to be double vaccinated to enter a mall. Kerala the malls are shut until not too long ago. So we moved from 30% e-commerce to 70% of the business e-commerce
Really?
until July when things started opening up again.
Did it affect your sales figures or the sales figures pre-pandemic and post e-commerce were the same?
No, of course it affected our sales figures very much so, definitely. So pre-pandemic, no, this year we'll close this year much higher than uh,
2020.
2020. Yeah,
Yeah,
2020 and 2019. But I'm just
yeah,
saying, but in terms of the actual business last year, it
yeah,
definitely affected it. The year previous, it definitely affected it because the stores are shut for almost 8 months, 9 months.
yeah, yeah.
And even the ones that were open, people weren't really coming in. We had to home delivery. We created something called an IVR, which was basically you can basically call and get the stuff home delivered. We did online beauty consultations to get people to come in and buy product. So we had no choice but to sort of do all of this, to turn the business around.
And also tie up with like social media influencers like Meera Kapoor. You've roped her in recently, right? Like,
Yeah,
is
and that's
social
actually,
media like a new part of your marketing plan?
well, not new part. No, it's been around for the last year.
Okay,
It's been around since the pandemic, basically.
since the
I
pandemic,
mean, we had
yes.
mild social media, but now it's sort of like we had no choice. The thing is this, you have a business, you have product, you have all employees. What are you going to do? Are you going to shut your business down? No. So basically, as I said, necessity is the mother of invention. You have no choice. So you had to very quickly, basically, we had to first get the technology. We didn't even have the technology on our side properly. It was a decent enough site, but nothing, wasn't that efficient. So we had to hire people, get the technology, turn that around, back end, front end. Um, Basically, we used all our store staff, put them onto onto the phone and we got call
I
her.
ordered off the website. I was very
Yeah,
comfortable
yeah.
doing it.
And then we got the other guys, the the trainers became the online beauty consults. Everybody pitched in basically.
Yeah.
And now the stores have opened since July. I think the stores are slowly, opening up and ramping in.
You've spoken of a couple of investors, but they were very small investments, am I right? And I'm sure private equity companies have just lined up outside your door. So, are you looking to raise funds? Are you reluctant?
We're not, no. The thing is, we had our first investment in 2014. Then Lighthouse gave us some more money, I think, in 2017, I think. And then in 2019, we had an investment from Pooj. And the
This is,
investment from Pooj, so
yeah,
Pooj is this large
Spanish company.
corporation, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the investment from Pooj is a strategic investment.
yeah.
So basically, they're going to help us take the company out into being, I guess, out into the world. What the initial plan was 20 years ago to take something authentic, Indian, time tested out to the world. So I guess it's been a bit slow, but it finally seems to be happening. So that is when Pooch came in. So at this point, no. So we're not looking at any more things, any more money. I think we've got very good. We've got both my partners are still there. The equity firm is there, and Pooch is there. So I think what we are looking for is now just to, figure out a good strategy to figure out how to start taking this company. How would it work? What format would work in Europe? What format would work in the East? What format would work in America? Do these products make sense as they are in these countries? Do they need to change depending on the skin type, depending on climatic conditions, sensorials, things like that?
Vivek, we love Kama in its 20th year. It's phenomenal. Where do you see it in its 25th year?
I guess we all have so many thoughts and ideas, but 2 years ago, if you'd said we'd be having this conversation on a Zoom call, we'd have both laughed. Literally.
Why is that?
Because there was no Zoom. Who was using Zoom? I mean, you'd have met me, interviewed me, and I'd have met you. I'd have come to Bombay. You'd have come to Delhi, and we'd have done this, with all of them around, and no dogs and cats and sparrows in the background.
Probably in some bar.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's a different thing. So I don't want to predict. I mean, God willing,
Yeah.
these things improve. People are able to travel, shop, and not be stressed the way they have, and the trauma that has taken place in the last 2 years for most people, across the world. Where do I hope to see it? I hope to see it as, I've never thought of it as, people keep talking about luxury brands and everything else. And I was like, this is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It just costs a little bit more money than not some other necessity, I don't know. But basically, it's in your bathroom. It does help your skin get better. It does help your dark circles. Your hair does stop falling. Various whatever concerns you are addressing. Like you said, the stretch marks or whatever they are. So then when it's addressing a concern, then it's hardly a luxury. Then it becomes a necessity, which is I mean, I guess a bag or a shoe or a very expensive fragrance would be a luxury. But something like this is a necessity, and I would hope to see this, like you're saying, in 5 years from now, in many more bathroom shelves, around the world. Because right now it's sort of largely in Indian bathroom shelves, and even largely Indian in predominantly in cities, in larger cities. I'd like to see it in many more, even in smaller towns, and across the world, basically, in as many countries as they are, where people are taking conscious choices, basically, because it is a conscious choice,
Yeah.
of, I mean, basically, and today, Namrata, you're a woman who has experience in beauty of every possible kind. What I'm saying is, you see it. You're in the world you're in. You see every single variation of it, and the choices that you have today. You didn't have these choices 10 years ago, 5 years ago also, and most people didn't globally. So you're consciously choosing. So if you're saying I love karma, you're consciously choosing to use a natural product on your skin, as against 5 million other kinds of products, which range from the complete synthetic to, you know, you're using besan ka uptan from the kitchen on your, for yourself. You can there's a wide range, and especially now, you can use any form of chemical is available online. It's there, so you can literally choose what you want to, what you earlier would have gone to a dermatologist for. So I would say I'd love to see it in more and more conscious people's bathroom shelves around the world. People are conscious of what they're putting on their skin and on their hair and are looking for results.
It's been wonderful chatting with you, Vivek. I'm very sorry that you've made me run around and taken weeks to come on the show, but I'm so glad that we're finally here. And thank you
Listen,
from
so
the
am I.
bottom of
And
my heart.
listen, I was sitting in Missouri with no signal at all. How am I going to speak to you? Huh? It's even worse than this. There was like no internet at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to climb a hill to like get a phone call. Literally.
Well,
So thank
thank
you
you
so much.
nonetheless. It's been wonderful having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed the show or not, write to me on Instagram, Twitter, or Clubhouse at Namrata Zakaria. For updates on Tell Me How You Did It, follow us at HT Smartcast. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse. To listen to more podcasts, log on to htsmartcast.com or suno naye nazariye se.